This demonstration we will normally use for learning how to record your actions in Photoshop. Extremely useful as a web designer, okay? Because as you learn slowly, in web designing you have already learned these techniques, how you can improve the productivity by using the same tools. In HTML, when we do web designing using CSS and HTML, we learned that some of the blocks, some of the codes of cascading style sheets, we use them repeatedly. Okay, some styles normally last for most of our projects, so we just keep them separate and just dump into the next website project which we do, so that those certain lines of codes which we use will be there automatically. So that saves your time and brings more efficiency and effective production of your projects. Now, similar concept you have in Photoshop. Over the period, as you are learning now, maybe in 6 months or 1 year, you will see that there'll be so many things in Photoshop you will be doing repeatedly again and again for most of your clients. So it's a good practice to record those actions which you might be using for future clients, and then the recording will be available for you for the next project. So you don't have to go through all the steps again and again. Just play your recording and all those actions will get applied to your pictures or to your clients' images. Okay, so that's what the intention is for this demonstration. I'm going to show you how to use, by going into the window, there's an actions panel, as you can see, Alt F9. Actions are there in CS3 as well, and it's continued up to all the higher versions. So let's get that actions panel in front. This is how the panel looks. In terms of the icon in the tray, it has this play button icon. So if I click on it, it squeezes the panel inside. If you click on that play button again, it actually opens the actions panel. Pretty simple. By default, you can see there is a default actions which are listed in your file. Now, if you want to create water reflections or if you want to apply a wood frame, you can simply have an image in your file. So let me just get any picture I want. And instead of creating by myself, if I want to apply some wooden frame, I can simply go to my default actions, and under the default action folder, I have some of the actions like vignette effect, wood frame, cast shadows. Let's say you select wood frame, which is 50 pixels frame, which will look like a wood. Now you don't need to do anything. You just highlight the action from default, and at the bottom, can you see the play buttons here? There are a couple of icons here. So you have stop, record, play, delete, create new, and create a folder. So there are 6 icons which we can use. Normally we use play icon if you want to play any recorded action from the panel. So for a while I'm just going to use the default action. So I'm simply going to use this play button, which can apply the wood frame of 50 pixel to my existing image, which is open in the document. Just click on play. Image size must be minimum 100 pixel wide and tall. Now this is just a simple warning messages. It will prompt you. But if you just say continue, you will see Photoshop will work like in a spooky simulation way. But that's what the recording means. It actually plays every single click, and do you see that? That's the final result. So whenever you want wood frames for your file, have your picture open in Photoshop and play the recording, and that's what the result it gives you. Then you can save it as a JPEG file, give it to your client, charge 100 quids, and that's it. Don't tell the secret. But there you go. These are some of the default. Obviously, you can't survive all your life in graphic design using defaults. Certain things you should record yourself, which is your own projects techniques and your own shortcuts or effects which you have learned by practice. So I'm going to hide this default for a while. I'm going to close this frame image as well. I don't need that for a while. And here, instead of default actions, which are actually inside this arrow, you can see them, they're there. Let's create a new action. Now to create that, first we will create our own folder so that we know these actions are by our name. Otherwise, in the college, there are different learners who use same computer, so they will have their folders as well. Okay. At home, you can record actions based on the category or based on the client you're working on and so on. So you can just use organizing your actions a bit more strong way. Now here, I'm just going to click on this folder icon. It asks me what should be this new set name. So I'll just record it as, let's say, J actions for group 1076. I can just give any name so that I can identify it within my computer. Okay. So set name, there's no restrictions. You can just apply whatever you like. Once I do that, you can see my set name will appear under the default actions. Okay. Now under this default, we are going to record our new actions in it. So to record actions, let's just find some purpose. Let's just find some target. Okay. Now I've just created some folders for you. This is my Photoshop folder in 1076. Okay. I've got two folders here. One is called original artwork and one is the optimized artwork. Okay. Optimized artwork is empty because this is going to be my destination folder. Okay. Now in this folder, I want to save some images, which obviously I'm going to work on them, which is my client's requirement. Client has given me original artwork, which is this folder. So if I'll open this folder, there's no 3 images in here, but let me get some images there. From images folder, I will select these 3 pictures. Okay. There you go. Now all I have is in original artwork, these 3 pictures which client has given me, and maybe I want to resize them into equal size, apply them some effect, or just for my copyright information, on all this picture, I want to resize them to small size, equal sizes, and apply a watermark over it that this image is copyrighted by me, my name. And that watermark will have it quite faint. I use that quite a lot when I work for the clients. So quickly I can play that recording, which will put my name as a copyright over the JPEG file. So even if client takes it, and if he doesn't pay, he cannot do anything with the image because it will have my copyright on it. Okay. So I'm going to show you that. I'm just going to record resizing these images into equal size, adding my copyright on it, and record all of that action. Because when I will record that for one image, for other images, I don't need to open them again in Photoshop and do the same process. I can just play recording and everything will have the same control and same settings applied. So for that reason, I'm going to record the action. You don't need any particular image to record. You can use anything you like. Let's say I use the first image. Okay, let me just get that image in Photoshop from Bridge. Okay, so this is the image we have on the stage. My folder, it has been set up inside the group folder. And I'm quickly going to check the size of this image. So if I'll check image size, the image resolution is 72, which is good, but the size is 1024 by 768 pixels. I believe all those 3 images are equal size. You can see here. That's the content 1024768. Yeah, so all 3 images are equal sizes. Okay. Now we will reduce them from 1024 to, let's say, half of the size. So we'll reduce their size by 50%. When we reduce the width, height of that image will automatically constrainedly change. It will maintain the aspect ratio. Okay. So my job is now to reduce these images into equal size by 50%. And each image should show a watermark as my copyright. Okay. And then we can save that image in the optimized destination folder. That's it. That's the story of the project. So to do that, let's go back to Photoshop. I've got my first image open. Now, opening image in the Photoshop, we are not going to record it. So we make sure the image is already there. And then we start recording all our actions. So before I do anything, next to the new set, I'm going to click on create a new action. So when I click on it, it will ask me what should be the name of your action. Okay. Under which set you want to record this action, and whether you want to apply any functional shortcut key for it, and so on, and any color. But function key and color, just keep it default. If you just give any other shortcut for your actions, it's gonna conflict with so many shortcuts you have in Photoshop. So I also avoid giving shortcut keys. I generally only give a name and make sure it goes in specific action set. So let's say set is there, which is identified correctly. The action name, I'm going to write it as resized water or resized copyright. Okay, that's just the name of my action. Like in the earlier example, under the default, it was a wood frame, 50 pixel. So my action, it will appear like resize dash copyright. If you want, you can give a dash and a client name as well. So you know for this client, I've recorded this particular action. You know what I mean? So you can organize your recordings and actions in the way you prefer. But I have just given some name. Set, it is selecting automatically, which is my particular set. And just click on the record button. Now when you start recording, you can see under the actions panel, under your set, the resize dash copyright action is visible now. And the next difference to see is in the actions panel, the recording button is on. It shows a red icon. Now that's where anything you do from this stage onwards, Photoshop will start recording every single moment. Okay, so make sure you only do things which you want to record. Now, I'm going to go back, and as we have decided in earlier theory that I want to resize it to smaller size, so I'm going back to image size, and we have decided that we'll change its width by half. So I will change it by, let's say, 512 pixels, which is half of 24. You can see because the constraint proportions are enabled, scaling styles are enabled, and resampling is enabled, the height will automatically change based on your width. Okay, so that's what I want. I'm keeping everything else default, only the width has been changed here. When I say OK, the image has resized, but you see the immediate difference in the panel. Under resize, Photoshop will remember that you have used image size menu from Photoshop, and if you collapse that as well, it will show you that you have scaled the width to 512, rest you have kept constraint. That's how smart Photoshop is. It literally remembers everything you do. That's just one thing we want Photoshop to remember. So I'll squeeze it. Second thing I want to do, you can even squeeze it inside, so you can click on the play button. That will not stop your recording. Recording will be still on. It's just, rather than confusing us, I'm just going to squeeze it inside. Next thing is just adding a simple watermark. So when the image is resized, let's use a text tool. And I'm going to write copyright by J. Okay, I will select this text. Let me use any fonts I like, any font sizes you like, any font colors you like. And that's the text will appear. You can see Photoshop will remember that. Make a text layer. That should be the content of the text. So he remembers that. Okay. Now the next thing, for that text layer, I will reduce the opacity. That should be okay. Okay. Now let's check Actions panel. It remembers set current layer opacity 37%. Pretty good. In continuation of what we're doing, the next thing we want is this image should go as a JPEG file in optimized format. Inside which folder? The optimized artwork. So let's record that as well, so that we don't have to do that step in future images. So the final thing we will record is file, save for web, JPEG, whichever quality you want. Photoshop will remember your quality values as well. I'm keeping 75 value, and that's optimized. Rest I'm going to just keep it default for a while. Save it. It will ask you which folder, so make sure you select the correct destination folder. Optimize artwork. I'm not going to change the name of the image. I've just selected the destination folder and keep the image name as it is. Otherwise, in future, image names will be same, so you will not have different images. It will keep overwriting the same image again and again. So it's ideal just to keep same name. Just select the folder and say save. If you go back to actions, it remembers that under the export. It will remember the folder as well, destination. Right, before we stop recording, the last thing is, if you're gonna have so many images, it's good to close this PSD file. So when I close this PSD, do you want to make original file saved as well after you work and finish recording? Or you don't want the original file? So if you don't want the original file to be saved as well, just say no. Photoshop remembers that, and you have closed PSD without saving. Because if you keep it enabled and save it, every single file you will play a recording, it will keep creating PSD also. So just make sure you are aware of what are you recording. Now I'm happy with these recordings. You can see Photoshop has remembered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actions. With this, let's stop the recording. Now nothing will happen and it will not remember anything else. Just double check, go to the folder. This is the original folder. And if I'll go back to optimize artwork, I've got my optimized image with my copyright mark on it automatically. Okay. If you want to test this on any other image, simply open the image. Let's say I've got this picture. I want this to be resized and have that copyright and go into that folder. Open the picture, go to the actions and select your highlight the action, which is resize. Click on the play button. Done. Go to your optimized folder. Your Manhattan is there with the resize. And if I can open it for you, do you see that? Copyright by J, resize to 512. Done. No one can break it. But I'm not going to stop here. To make it more exciting, let me delete all these images. How about applying it to the entire folder? So if you have more than 2 images, if you have more than 50 images, are you going to keep opening single image and keep playing the recording? What if client gives you 100 pictures? So it's good to, instead of opening them one by one, apply the action to the whole folder. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply this recording, single recording, but this time to the entire folder, which is original artwork. It has 3 images currently. It doesn't matter you have 3 or 300 or 3000. Action will keep playing one by one to all the images. You can go for a coffee break. In 5 minutes, it will do resizing, copywriting to all of them. Now to do that, all you do is simply just go to Photoshop. We go to File menu and we go to the Automate option. So there's an option called File, Automate, Batch. Okay. This is demonstrations for applying action for the entire batch of folder. Okay. Now here we simply select the batch and it opens this panel for you. And in the panel it has three sections, right? The first section is play, second section is source, and the last section is destination. So you select in the play, you select from which folder, which action you want to apply, what is your source folder, and where do you want to save the optimized images in your destination folder. For us, we have everything. It's just to go and select now. So I'm just going to go there. I want to apply resize copyright action from this set. Source folder, click on choose. I'm going to my K drive and I will select original artwork as my source folder. For destination, it says none, but you can click on the drop down menu and select folder there as well. And for destination, we can click on choose. Do the same cycle of K drive, 1076 Photoshop, and select optimize artwork, because that is our destination folder. When I say OK, all has been set up. Don't do anything for the file naming because we're going to keep it as original file names. Just click on OK. Photoshop will do rest. That's 1, 2, that's 3. So if you have 3000, it will keep doing that. And then if you go to the folder, that's the original folder, and that's your optimized folder, all with the copyright and all with the same sizes, same dimensions, same resolutions, same effect. So that's what recording actions and playing the batch for you.